Join us, Alex and Colleen, self-proclaimed fake it till you make it experts, as we navigate the highs and lows of being a woman and how the pressure and overwhelm of trying to do it all often leads to feeling like an imposter in our own lives. On today's episode, we're chatting with Krista Smith. Krista tells us about a major life event that changed how she looks at imposter syndrome and how it has shaped her amazing journey.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Colleen.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Okay, I have to talk to you about something. We had an article come out about imposter sisters, and I never felt more imposter-y in my entire life.
No, I felt like so famous.
I don't know how you felt famous, not just like I wanted to curl under the covers. I was like, oh my gosh, the article was huge.
Yeah,
First of all, and I was like, oh gosh, they're like referring to O'Day and Robinson said this and O'Day said that, and like it was.
Well, we did say
daunting.
those things.
I know, but I felt like they made us seem way more knowledgeable.
I know. You said that to me. We sound so smart. And I was like, we are smart.
I know. I don't know why I freaked out.
And you are knowledgeable about this very topic.
We are.
We are now.
So many
Yeah.
people, and but I don't know if I'm still feeling impostery from when we first started, or I don't know.
I mean, we're obviously not perfect at this still. This is actually take 2 of this episode because we're still doing that.
It was not an article on how to run a podcast.
No, they were definitely not interviewing us about that.
Yes. Yeah, it felt funny, and you got some people sending you messages. Though.
Well, I think it came out rurally first, so I had my stepmother send me a copy for her friend, and Kate Breton saw it. And then when it came out in Halifax, I went to the gym and a couple people recognized me from it. So that was kind of cool. Like I'll take all the fame. I'm not going to hide about it.
We had our 5 minutes of fame.
Yeah, I'm still riding it.
This evening, we have Krista Smith.
Woo!
Yes.
Hello, hello.
Krista is so fun to watch on social media. You are always like vibrant and out there and live and woohoo, here's Krista.
I'm fairly optimistic.
Yes. Yeah. And you do some conferences. You have a conference coming up. I saw you announce just.
Yes, I have a retreat I'm doing in March. And in the last year, I've done more speaking than I have ever done before. And I actually never thought I liked it.
No.
But you know what? I freaking love it.
That's how we feel too, I think. I mean, Colleen, I think you always knew.
I've always liked speaking because I taught. So I taught at the university. I always loved that.
I taught too, but that doesn't mean I like to speak.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm not
I
bright.
like it.
Yeah.
I get nervous.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've had a few moments that we've spoken, and the last time we spoke at Social Media Day, I was very nervous that day.
Right. But once you're up there and doing it,
Yeah.
I think, especially if it's a topic that you feel somewhat knowledgeable about, or, I feel like it's a little bit harder when it's something that you maybe don't feel as confident about, or you feel like you need to memorize.
Yeah. If you have to step into like figuring out what all those things are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to have any notes. I just want to be able to converse like this, like have a conversation.
Speak from the
and
heart.
Speak from the heart. Yeah. I love that. I love speaking.
Well, the topic of imposter syndrome is so great because the whole thing is about not knowing what you're talking
I know.
about, right?
So we could be like, whatever, we don't know what we're talking about. So we move on to the next, right? Yeah. If we mess that up, that's because we're imposters. We're totally faking it. Like
That's right.
Yeah.
It works.
Yeah.
Yeah. We
need to be messy. We need to be messier. We need to make mistakes. And I love that you guys said like this was not our first take at the beginning. No, because typically people are watching this and they're in their minds imagining that it's this amazing, huge production and you're making it on the first cut. And like we do, right?
We have recorded podcasts where we've not turned on the mic.
Yeah, and they were so fucking good.
Really good.
I know.
They were our best.
Oh, are we allowed to swear on this
Okay.
podcast? Oh,
Gosh, yes.
We
They were
encourage
our best episodes.
Yeah,
Yes.
it was my fault.
It's like
I'll
the
take
one
the
that got away. No, they really weren't our best ones, but
yeah.
whatever.
Well, they were better than when we re-recorded, though. You know what I mean? Like
It's hard
it is
to
what it is.
re-record.
Get that energy back.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah. So, Krista, please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh gosh, what do you want to know?
Well, let's talk about your career. Let's talk a little bit about
Because you've done some
Yeah.
major pivoting.
Yeah, yeah.
You were an elementary school.
I was an
teacher.
elementary school teacher and I loved being Miss McKinnon. Trust me, I loved it. And as a matter of fact, to this day, still have like Facebook friends of students that I taught
I love
who
that.
will say to me, okay, you were my favorite teacher. Like they still reach out and that means so much when you've been gone from like, my gosh, it was like how many years ago? Well, in 2002 is when I left education. So yeah,
It can
And did
have
you
a
yeah,
huge
teach in Nova
impact.
Scotia?
yeah, yeah. Pardon?
It can have a huge impact.
It has,
My
yeah.
dad was a teacher forever, and when he died
Yeah.
like 3 years ago, people were commenting on
Mm.
my post about
Yeah.
how much they loved him and how much of an impact he had on their lives. And you
Yeah.
know, just reading things like that is it's really special.
Yeah, yeah, it is special. It's very special.
I think young people need to have adults in their lives that they can relate to. And I think there's a lot of times they can't, they have adults in their lives that are pushing their ideas on them or whatever, and they can't relate to them.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
nice to be able
Yeah.
to, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I
that's what
think
your dad was.
I think it's
was
really
for fun.
important to love the career, because that is what
Yeah.
helps. That's what shines through, and that's when you build those relationships. There's so many people that go into teaching that just really aren't caught out for it, don't love it, don't love children.
No, they're doing it for the summers off, what they think are the summers
Yes,
off.
exactly.
They don't realize
It's
that it's
never-
not
No,
about that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both my parents were
Yeah,
teachers.
you get
so
it.
I get it. And my
Yeah.
sisters too.
Yeah.
But I just think if you really love what you're doing and you love the kids and you're in it for the right reasons, that can be such a huge impact for kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think for me, like when I decided to leave, I mean, I remember first I took a 2-year leave of absence because that was as long as I could take without giving up my contract. Because do you want to give up your contract? Like
Mhm.
that's the big thing. And I was really struggling with, I saw where education was going at that point, and I knew what kind of a parent I wanted to be. And I didn't feel like, because of the person who I was a real, like I needed to be there for the kids. And I thought, I can't do all three and do them well. Something was going to give, and I didn't want it to be either my health or my family or the kids. Like, yeah. So I just needed to go, okay. And luckily, my husband, who I was married at the time, he had a new home construction business, and it was easy for me to just kind of slide into, okay, I'll do the books for you. Okay, well,
Oh.
that didn't work out well.
Mm.
Only because simply, I mean, it was his dream to have that business, not my dream.
Sure.
And it wasn't great for our relationship. So we really quickly figured that one out and went, okay, wait, this is probably not the best for us. And I can remember at that time I hired my first life coach, and I remember sitting across from her in that first session. And after it was over, I remember sitting there going, you get paid $150 an hour to do this. That's interesting. And by the end of my 3 months, I had decided to pursue the same certification and became a coach. And it was amazing and soul opening and all of the things when you go through one of those amazing experiences like coaching. And when I started my business, I honestly thought I was going to be coaching like almost full time.
Okay.
And like maybe the second or third weekend I went back for the coach training, I had a website because technology has always just been easy for me. So I'm like, I need a website. I'm going to be a coach. So I'll build a website. And all of my colleagues were like, Krista, what is this wizardry? Like, you already have a website. Like, can you do this for us? I'm like, well, I did it for myself, so I guess I can do it for you. So this other part of my business was very much built out of this need to serve the people that I was going through training with.
So interesting.
And very quickly, that is the revenue stream that I felt like, oh, this is easy. And I still got to teach because all of these women, right?
Yes.
Still needed to learn how to use their website, how to use social media in order to get the results that they were looking for. So
Yes.
honestly, that is the short version of how I came to do the work that I do today.
So where does imposter syndrome come up, or does it?
It comes up a lot in the mindset work that I do with my clients, because every single one of them has fill in the blank with whatever it was. For me, there's something interesting that happened to me. And I guess the best way to explain it is to say, when I was 21 years old, my family, so my mother and my father and my sister, who was going to Acadia at the time, it was spring break and they were going to pick her up. And it was the 101. And they were in a head-on collision on the way home. And I got the call. I was substituting at the time. I had just graduated I was substituting in Truro. I got the call from a hospital in Windsor, said everybody was being rushed to the hospital in Halifax to the VG. And they didn't expect at that point my sister to make it. And they did tell me that. I remember that.
I have goosebumps.
Yeah. And I can remember getting to the hospital. I mean, everybody survived. So I will say that my sister is a complete spinal cord injury. Her back was broken in 3 places because of the lap belt in the back. And like, there were numerous like my dad's face was completely shattered by the steering wheel. Like he needed significant reconstructive surgery. Like we're talking the face-off situation. And that experience happening. Okay. And then what I will say is to watch my sister go through recovery from a very traumatizing, she's 21 years old. She was going to graduate. So I guess I would have been 23. Yeah, I would have been 23 because she would have been 21. And to watch her navigate life and then find a partner, get married, have 2 babies. And I want you to imagine, we talked about this. I asked you about your children. I want you to imagine trying to parent in a wheelchair. If you're going down the road with your toddler and they fall in the ditch, how do you get them out? This is what I watched unfold for me in the very formative years of your 20s, when usually these feelings of imposter just like weigh you down, right? And I'm looking at this going, well, I can do anything. Like
That's right. There
Yeah,
is
such a
no
perspective.
room for you
Right.
to think you can't
Right.
do something
totally
because you bloody well can do it.
anything. And I can
Yeah.
remember the coach that I mentioned. I
Wow.
remember that coach saying to me, like, "Oh, what does the voice in your head say?" And I thought there was something wrong with me, you guys, because I didn't have a voice. I didn't have a mean girl holding me back voice at that time. And I never understood it. I never understood why. I thought there was something wrong with me. There wasn't. It's just I had survived this really traumatizing event and watched what happened, and just I couldn't make it make sense to me. It didn't feel like I felt like I'm watching her live her life and parent from a wheelchair and like live with pain 24 hours a day. And she still gets up and has a smile on her face and goes about her life. And so therefore, why can't I?
What a perspective
Right?
shift.
So I don't know if like that's an interesting place for this to go, but that's the
it's-
truth. That's my story.
That's unreal. But so I can see, I can see how you can look at her and say, so okay, I can see your side of it. Her side of it was she always positive? Was she always?
So she was going to be an engineer. And I mean, I don't want to say too much about her story because it's
Yeah.
obviously her story to say. She was going to be an engineer and she did continue to go to Dal. Like I remember she did start she was going to Dal in the fall. So she was at Acadia, was going to do her engineering at Dal. And honestly, I think it was the pain that just got like, because it wasn't 100% complete spinal cord injury. Like if we really get into what it is, like, and when those neurons are still trying to, then that's what creates all that like pain. And you can't numb it because when you take anything, it numbs all the other things and then it makes that pain more pronounced. So like it wasn't, and I remember I can remember like really having a hard time, like when she transitioned from the hospital to the rehab center and they had to switch her rooms. There were a couple of days and facing the fact that, because in the beginning, of course, there's a lot of denial, like, oh, I'm not going to need a wheelchair, like you're talking about. And all these people are coming in trying to get you excited about what your wheelchair is going to look like. And they're a teaching hospital. So they were, not really understanding feelings and all of the things. I think there were probably moments that she kept private from me. But she was just like, nope, this is what I'm supposed to do. So, okay, this is the cards that I'm dealt and I'll just do it.
Do you have a strong faith? Did you have a strong family faith?
I probably did. She was an atheist completely. Like, no, although I do remember her asking at one point to go like to the chapel in the church. And not that we could get her there or anything at that point, because she was still hooked up to so many machines. But yeah, no.
I'm just curious because
Yeah.
sometimes that's helpful.
No, I mean, I definitely had a stronger I grew up in the United Church, and it was a very important part of my life, like all the way through. Not so much for her though. She was the scientist, right?
Yeah.
So it's interesting the way that brains work, but she just accepted that this is
Remarkable.
what she's supposed to do.
That is remarkable, and it's just very interesting, the perspective for you.
Yeah, I mean, that's
So-
the lesson that
Yeah.
I like. Now, in saying that, does that mean that imposter syndrome doesn't show up for me? Absolutely not. And as I have, reconciled that experience and understood what I can take away from it, and what it taught me, and how it makes me who I am, I also am able to define more the parameters that I can work through some of the stuff. Because what happens for me, like, I'm definitely more the soloist, where I feel like I need to do everything. And if I don't do it, it's not going to be done well, or people will be disappointed because I'm not doing it. Like, they're counting on me. And again, that goes back to like, I was the one that was left. So everything was on my shoulders. So it's that, I call it responsibility, Krista. Like, responsibility, Krista, is going to show up for you. I also think that's part of our generation and how we grew up.
Yes, I also,
Right?
you're the oldest.
Yeah.
You're the oldest, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's an oldest.
Oldest
thing,
sibling
too.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not an oldest, so as a soloist, let's just jump in, because you
Yeah.
said soloist. The soloist cares mostly about who completes the task.
Yeah.
To make it on the achievement list, it has to be you and you alone, because you think you need to do and figure out everything on your own. Needing help is a sign of weakness.
Yep. That little
So if somebody
definition.
else helps you with something,
Yes.
you don't feel as good about the project because the project was not 100% yours?
No, I actually would welcome the help from I would love that. I just can't ask for the help.
I have a hard time trusting someone to do that.
I do too. Have you had experiences where
Yes.
people, I've
Yes.
been let down,
Yes, you
and
don't wanna
that's
be let
hard.
down.
That's hard. Well,
Yeah.
it's not that I don't want to be let down. I don't want to let other people
Right.
down.
Yeah.
It
I
has
have
nothing
set
to do-
expectation
Mhm.
about what my outputs are. And if they
Mhm.
don't match that output, then that's on me.
Mhm.
That's
Mhm.
not
I
the
take it
client's
as
fault,
personal
right?
reflection.
That's mine. So I feel that way too.
Yeah.
I would love the help, but I don't know that I trust a lot of people to do it
Yep.
the way that I want it done.
Yep. Me
It
too.
means I'm a dream to live with.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. We're a treat. Yeah. Definitely. How do you want to unpack that?
I didn't know, this is. So I've honestly don't think in however many interviews we've had,
Mhm.
I don't think, I'm a little bit at a loss, because how do you go from my parents and my sister had this
You pivot.
horrific accident and it altered your perception on life and how you
Mhm.
deal with life
Mhm.
to, where does imposter syndrome show
But
up?
I
for you?
think-
But it
Like,
still does.
But I think it's interesting too, because it could have gone a completely different direction.
Oh my God, it could
Like,
have
you
tanked
could've-
me.
Yeah, you could
Mm.
have gone an entirely different way, but you chose to see not as a positive, but to use it as a positive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To propel you in a way that is so positive and drives you in different directions. So, I think kudos, because it definitely, you could have taken that and gone a completely different direction with it.
Yeah.
do you think you're always living life to the fullest?
Oh, that's a great question. No, I would say no.
Nope.
No,
Definitely not.
I think I know when I want to capitalize on things. And I also think, no, I would just say no, I don't live. I try to, I would love to say yes, that I do. And I'm in a stage of my life, how age and stage, right? Like different ages.
Oh, yeah.
So, in the stage of life that I'm in now, I would say I'm doing my level best to do it, but am I doing it like as much as maybe my future self will be proud of me for? Maybe not quite yet.
Yeah.
Right?
But how do you know when you are doing it?
Oh,
There you
I
go.
feel alive.
Mm.
So I will say that, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like,
Energy glow.
yes, well, you know what it is? It's when you notice the energy matching you.
Yeah, that's a good
So
point.
when I'm noticing all of my connections online or like on social media, let's talk about that. When I'm seeing beautiful compliments come my way, completely, like, not even asking for them, or when people will say to me, my gosh, I just love following you. Or I meet people and they'll say, I feel like I know you. And I'm
love
like
that. I
going,
love that. That's my favorite.
right?
Yeah.
Like, I didn't even know that you listened to
Yeah.
me. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, first fascinating. Like, please give me some love online next
Okay,
time. Can
exactly.
we talk about that?
Can we talk about
Yes.
Because
Yes.
they're all like, oh my God, yeah, I saw your story the other day, or I love what you're doing here. You're like, well, then like it.
Like it, comment on it,
Comment,
share it,
say something,
anything.
do something.
Give us, please, just a little bit of
Yes.
inkling.
But also, clients, remember that those vanity metrics are just that.
Yeah.
People are still seeing the content, even if they don't interact with it.
Yeah.
This is true.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
is true.
Yeah.
But it is like for people that work in that environment, it is tough. And we have to say to clients often, no, don't worry, they're still seeing it. I can see
Well,
it.
yeah.
People
Are you
seeing
seeing
it?
Is
Yeah.
your bottom line reflecting it? Yeah.
Are you
Yes,
getting sales?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes that like little boost of confidence, the direct boost of confidence
100%.
would
Yes.
be magical in helping us know that we're on the right track with our messaging and that we're actually helping people.
Agreed.
Yes.
It also helps with the algorithm too.
Well, I mean,
It
that's the
does.
benefit for us. And
Yeah.
I think I do wish more people who are not small business owners understood that alike, even if you don't understand what's going on, is massive help to any small business.
And
Yeah.
I tend to do that. I tend to go through some days and I'm like I'm
Yep.
throwing likes out there like crazy.
Yep.
But because I know that it's pushing it into the
It's
algorithm.
Spreading
It's allowing
confetti.
other people to see it. Spreading
It's
confetti.
spreading confetti.
Spread confetti. Serving up hot brews, refreshing cold drinks, lots of fresh baked goodies, and delicious lunch options. Visit the Mellow Mug in the heart of Larry Utech for dine-in, takeout, or drive-through service. Their spacious cafe offers a casual and inviting vibe that's perfect for everything from enjoying a good book, hanging with friends, or meeting a colleague. The Mellow Mug is your neighborhood spot for great coffee and delicious eats and sweets. So tell me a little bit about what you do with work now.
Oh, that's a juicy question. So I am in the season of really reevaluating things this year. So I became certified as a StoryBrand guide in just before the pandemic. No, during the pandemic. It was the first year, 2020. And it was one of the best things I ever did for my business because it gave me, because I was a teacher
Yeah.
and because I've pivoted into this online again, so here's the imposter syndrome. Here it is. I was
There we
like,
go. It shows up.
I can't say that I can help people, even though so my biggest
know.
pet peeve as a web designer was I would get to the place where I'm like, okay, give me the content. And clients could never commit to content. And I used, and
worst.
projects would let go on for a year. I couldn't pay my mortgage if you're not paying me. And they're like, well, there's no deadline. So, and I'm like, okay, I need to solve this problem because it's a massive problem for me. I can't, even though I could look at someone's content, they gave me their content and I looked at it, I would know in my first glance whether that business was going to survive or thrive. Because by looking at it, you can tell by looking at it, can you feel their passion in the words? Is the narrative there that is going to attract the sales?
Is there a business case?
Yeah. And I could always tell in an instant. So it's fascinating that I needed a certification to tell me, or a framework to give me the confidence to say, I can help you. But it's exactly what I needed. So I'm in this phase of being a little bit more involved with that organization. I'm serving on the board this year to help guide the direction of that organization, which is like super, super, I feel very, very honored that they asked me to do that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I am going back to running retreats,
Yes.
which I haven't, the last time I did that was 2 years before the pandemic. So I'm excited to do one. I have one coming up in March and I'm really in Orlando. Yeah. And I'm really excited about the energy online that I'm seeing in helping people figure out a way to launch things on Instagram that feels easy. Because it goes back to the words. So clients know how to make a beautiful feed and they have in their mind what they want to create. So the ideas and the creativity is there. They don't know what to say in the words to get their message out there. And I'm just creating this really easy container that I'm hoping is giving people, well, I mean, the feedback has just been incredible. Listening to people's, like, they're like, one lady sent me a DM last night from Australia and said, "You've literally changed my business in the last 2 weeks." And I'm like,
Amazing.
oh my God, like that's incredible.
Isn't
Can
that
I
awesome?
screenshot this and put it on my
Yeah, I
sales
was gonna
page?
say,
And
are you
oh
going to
yeah,
do that?
oh yeah.
You
She's
gotta
like,
share that.
I said that right away. I'm like, can I screenshot this and are you okay?
You have no problem putting those testimonials up because I have issues and Alex is always saying to me, would you
Dude,
post
I know.
that online? So I'm
Exactly,
like,
dude.
dude.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Screenshot
I'm
that.
telling her all the time. She's like, "Oh, I got this lovely thing." And I'm like, "Why isn't it already in your stories?"
Yeah, screenshot it and share it. Here's the thing. If you wait for other people to wax poetically about you publicly, we might be waiting a really long time. And we have beautiful gifts. All of us, all women have beautiful gifts that we can share with the world. And I actually think it's our job. People have said that about us. It's our job to share that.
It's going to help someone else, like you with that person
Mhm.
in Australia saying you've changed their business. Well, that means you can change other people's business. But if you don't share that insight,
Yeah,
then other people can't act on it.
yeah.
That's right.
How are you going to
True.
get all the speaking gigs that you want to take the show on the
I
road?
just
if you don't-
told them
Just through our salt
through
wire,
our salt wire.
through our big expo,
Right?
expose,
Yeah,
or whatever the hell it was.
You need to say that. You need to claim that. That's beautiful. You guys are doing this incredible thing. If you get feedback, girl, you need to start sharing it.
Yeah, I do feel, and this was, I met with my business group last night. And one of the things that I said was, I really feel like Imposter Syndrome Sisters is making a difference. I feel like
It
we're making a
is.
difference in women's lives.
Yeah.
And that feels really good. And it feels really good to be, first of all, for us, for you and I, to be able to have this outlet, but also to have women like you on the show. Is this a show?
Yes.
I call it a show.
It's totally a show.
Yeah.
A show now. To have people.
2 seasons.
That's right. It's 2 seasons, and we have show notes. So to have somebody on, on an episode that can really boost women and tell them you can do this too.
You can
and
do
this is-
anything that you wanna
anything, like,
do.
chase your dream.
Yeah.
And you saying that you went working with your ex-husband, it wasn't your dream.
Nope.
So you're not going to be successful. That's not what you want
Nope.
to do. That's not your dream.
Find
Just
your
find
dream. Yeah.
And it's encouraging, I think, especially for women, because we are all grew up in the time where you had a job and you stayed in that job forever. And that was just sort of what you did, regardless of whether you liked it or not, you just did that. But to see people who have made pivots and who have found careers in different areas, sometimes completely different from where they're trained or thought they'd be, I think it's encouraging for people to
Yep.
get that motivation to leave something that's maybe not as fulfilling,
Yep.
or, to find that community to lift them up. And that's what I hear from most people, that it's so relatable, and it's surprising, some of the stories, that some of the people you thought were like super confident and they're coming in and being really transparent. And I think that's just really helpful for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we all have to pull back the curtains and be honest and vulnerable. Like when we're like, again, like I definitely have moments of feeling it. It's just also life lessons that I've had have also shown me that I don't need to stay in that place. So I
That's
guess
right.
that's the biggest gift. If I could think of, okay, what that
Yeah.
time in my life, like what is the lesson in that I'm able, it's that I know I don't have to be in a really bad place forever, in that even if it is the worst thing that you could ever imagine, you can still find some positivity on the other side of it. You've just got to wait for the lessons to reveal themselves.
Well, that's such good advice.
Right? Like
Such
that's
good
what,
advice.
and that's like in thinking about how do I deal with it, when I notice imposter syndrome show up, I'll just kind of look at her and go, okay, yeah, I see you.
Yes.
Noticed. And I have one of the tools that I have, and I got it from a coach that I worked with just actually when I was doing the certification with StoryBrand. I have a hooray folder.
Oh,
And in
is that
my,
what you call it? I love
I
that.
have a
It's called
hooray. Yeah,
folder.
that was her language.
I like
Thank
that.
you, Heather Crabtree. And yeah, I have a hooray folder. And whenever I have a moment, I go into my hooray folder and I read all of the screenshots and all of the testimonials that are there and go, okay, there.
Yep.
That is my true north. This is not taking me to north.
Because on social media, it can knock us down.
Oh,
Right?
I
It
had
can knock us
we
down.
talk about, I had my first really negative comment.
Oh, did you?
I
Thank
did.
you.
And it,
That means you've made it.
Yeah. It can knock you though, eh?
It was, it was a YouTube video, and I can't believe I published it. And I can't even believe I'm sharing it now, but here we go. I had so many of my clients say to me, oh my God, how do you do your hair? And I was like, seriously, guys, like just ask your stylist. And they're like, no, we want to do it like yours. I'm like, okay. So one day I
I
set
saw
up,
that video. I loved
oh
it.
my gosh.
You
It was
did a hair
You did?
tutorial.
I saw it.
Yeah, I've done two now. I did one with rollers and I did one with like how I get my beachy waves. And it was how I get my beachy waves last year that prompted this comment. So it was what, and I published it on my YouTube channel when I didn't have a lot of subscribers. It was just kind of like a place that I dumped content for clients if they needed a how to. Anyway, it has been steadily growing over the last year or so. And I happened to be online when I saw the comment come through, because like it comes like, and I'm like, oh, what, like it was nasty. It was like something like, why would I ever learn from someone like you and old and your size? It was just, and I thought, okay, I can either handle this like a big girl, or I can like allow imposter syndrome to completely wash over me and then run from any more like vulnerable kind of posts that I would do. And I thought about it, and I thought about advice. I went to a TikTok workshop a few months previous, and I asked the question. So like, what do you guys do when you get comments? And they're like, you answer them with questions. So I went back with a question, and I said, first of all, thanks for your comment. Secondly, I'd love to know, what is it that you learned in the other people's videos that you're talking about that you found so much better than mine? Like, I'd really love to know from your perspective, like, how can I improve? Like, she immediately replied back and said, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. That was a really insensitive comment. As I now look at it, I'm going to delete it and I'll post something else again. And she did.
Huh.
So like, you can actually turn it around. And I could have, and believe me, I had a moment where I was like, oh, this is where I'm just going to go delete it and take it down and no one has to see it.
No, you diffused it instead.
You can handle it.
Smart.
We can do hard things.
What's really funny to me is here you are teaching women how to do all kinds of wonderful things for their business, and they come back and they say, how do you do your beachy waves? Or where did you get that shirt?
Yeah,
I think
they do.
I think it ties back in though, because being confident on camera means you want to like how your hair looks. You want to like what sweater you're wearing. If you like the way you look, you're going to show up more.
Yep. I say that all the time.
So
True.
I think it ties together.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
That's a good one. I'm impressed with how you handled that.
Good for you for getting through your first bad comment. Yeah.
Well, now I'm not afraid of the next ones, right? Because I know they're going,
Yeah.
I'm watching, like, I mean, just like even in the last couple of weeks, like hundreds of new followers every day. And I'm going, okay, I know they're coming. Like, I'm almost like at that, they're coming. Like we're going to get them. Like,
Oh, for sure.
When
the
you
bigger
grow,
you get, the more trolls you're
and
for sure.
It's hard. But the other piece of advice, like if I think back to what he was a really great speaker, and he's like, every piece of content isn't going to go viral. And it's only those viral ones that are going to get you the attention, and they're not going to stay around. So you just have to kill them with kindness, ask them questions, and diffuse the situation. All you're going to do is demonstrate to the rest of your followers exactly who you are.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then eventually people will come to your defense for you.
Yeah.
Where do you get your, well, I guess it goes back to your sister being one, but where do you get your, who are your hype people? Where do you get your
my circle is
energy?
small.
Is your
My
circle
circle
small?
is small, but I have very good friends in that circle. Yeah. I have 3. Well, no, I probably have 6 women that I could at any time of day or night, they would be there with the shovel, the garbage bag, and the car and ready to help me. And those are the people that I feel like you really need in your corner. And I'm really great. My parents are still alive, and my dad is one of my, he can do no wrong in my eyes, and I still go to him for, I'm very mindful of you losing your dad.
It was 3 years, but
still, like, I know I know the relationship, and I know what I can go to him for. And yeah, so I think that he is definitely one of my hype people too. My mom unfortunately has dementia, so that relationship is difficult for her to understand, even what I'm doing. Like I work on TV, guys, like that's what I
Yes,
do, right?
sure, yeah.
Yeah. I work on the TV. No, on the box. That's what she calls it. I work on the box.
Oh,
That's what she thinks I do. And that's great. Like, so I would say, yeah, mom, dad, and some really good friends. And of course, I have my fur baby. I have a Springer Spaniel named Riley, who is just the best engagement officer. And like they get, like, here's the thing about dogs, they get you outside,
Oh.
they get you in nature, they get you engaged with the public because you need to and they need it. So yeah. And my clients, I would also like to say that they're huge hype people, like, because they're celebrating every win that I have and every accolade that maybe is given to me that I'm feeling, again, like you, like I'm a little embarrassed about them, but I know I have to do it because if I don't, no one else is going to do it for me.
yeah.
I think that's the thing about being a single parent too. Like, I know, I'm sure you get
I'm a
it.
single parent.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
And
when the responsibility is like 1000% on your shoulders,
yeah, you're
there's
the one
nobody
that's-
else that's going to do it for me. I have to do it.
No,
So yeah, it just becomes, it's a muscle and we have to practice it. And it's uncomfortable because I think, like, if we look at it, we grew up, or well, you know, like our generation for sure grew up, we didn't have social media, we didn't have any of this, we lived very private lives, very different. We're not used to documenting every sip and food and the social thing and all of those things. So it is very, and I think that's the struggle that most of my clients have, is that how do I draw the line between what I share about my business and what I share personally, and what's the intersection of the magic there?
Yeah, and I think that's a huge challenge for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people don't share enough personal
I agree.
items, you know? I
Oh,
think there's a line, obviously, but I think the more you can share about who you are as a person, the more apt people are going to want to work with you,
I
or
agree.
not, but then you'll get the right people for you. You'll get
That's
the
what I
right
mean.
people.
I'm with you
Yeah.
1000%.
Like I'm always dropping
Yeah.
F-bombs and
So
you
am
know,
I.
showing my tattoos and doing whatever I do because this is who I am.
Yeah.
Like if you
Yeah.
want to work with me, that's good. If you don't want to work with me, that's also good.
Yeah.
Like chances are I
want
probably don't
you-
want to work with you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
well, I had a coach years ago when I started started writing on the blog, and I was writing very vulnerable posts on the blog. You know, there's thousands of posts written out there. And she kept saying to me, are you sure this is a good idea for business? And I was thinking, well, I don't think you're going to be my coach
I'm
anymore,
thinking
because
not.
I do think it's I think that the people that see me showing up online and the stories I write, they're going to want to work with me because of who I am. And that's that. You know, I'm going to find my people.
Believe it.
And you know what, if you don't have the same ideas as I do, then we're not meant to work together.
Yeah.
You know?
I think for far too long, marketing was all about smoke and mirrors and
Mhm.
never showing cracks in the foundation and everything being perfect and perfectly curated and manicured. And I just think that's bullshit. And people know that's bullshit now.
Yeah.
And they don't have a tolerance for it.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, you're going to see it more and more. You're already seeing a move to more authenticity. You're seeing less curated grids. You're seeing raw footage. You're seeing not perfect lighting. You're seeing people mess up and stutter over their words and leaving it in there. But that's what you want to see because that's what's relatable to people.
It's real.
Exactly.
What it's doing is it's creating this whole generation of imposters
Yeah.
who think that they can't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I can't tell you the amount of people that I talk to that say, oh, I could never start a podcast. I'm like, dude, you need a microphone or your phone and a closet.
Yeah,
That's all you need.
You really don't need much.
That's
guys.
all you need.
Yeah.
And an idea and inspiration and a way to share with the world. That's it. That's
Yeah.
what you need. If you have that, you've got a podcast.
It took me a long time. I've wanted to podcast for years, and it took me a long time to finally bite the bullet. And I kind of regret that I didn't start sooner, you know, because I'm loving this. This is fun.
It's really fun.
It is
Yeah,
fun.
it's
I'm
fun.
still shocked that we're even doing it, to be honest.
Yeah.
What makes you shocked about it?
I don't know. Like for me, I have lots of ideas and they never really come to fruition and they never actually gain traction as
Mhm.
much. So I'm impressed with how many people have kind of grabbed onto this concept and wanted to be a part of it. The first year we were definitely recruiting people, but now people are coming to us and
Yeah.
asking to be guests, which to me is remarkable and
It's
amazing.
amazing.
You know, and it's like, it's
It's a
not,
testament to the work that you guys have put in the beginning.
yeah, I think it's just, I still find that sort of surprising. I don't know.
There's the
happily-
imposter
yeah,
showing
yeah.
us.
The
right?
imposter. But
Take
I
all
do-
the fame though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I will tell you that, you know, doing this podcast, and I find it a little bit easier that we do it together.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah, I
We
agree.
bounce off each other. I think we've
Yeah.
got a really good
Yeah.
relationship for bouncing. Listen, doing a podcast with one of your besties is pretty cool.
Yeah.
It
You
is.
know,
And I think
that's-
because we have such different strengths that we bring to the table, it works really well. Because the things that I really dislike about it, you're really good at, and vice versa.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
think it just makes an easier project.
So anyway, this is a whole episode about Alex.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah, no
forget
kidding.
Krista.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Well, you know,
See, that's the coach in me though. I have to pivot, right? Like it's
but Krista,
natural.
you talk about, you know, you deal with a lot of women
Yeah.
coming online and putting their face in front
Yeah.
of the camera, and it's tougher. I think you talk a lot about women 40 and over
Yep.
Yeah, I was
putting
gonna
their
say that.
face in front of the
Yeah,
camera,
that's important.
which is us,
Yeah.
right? And it is hard. And we both work with clients
Yeah.
that we're trying to get them in front of the camera. It's hard. It's
It's-
easier, I think, for somebody in their 20s because they grew up with it.
They did. And they had the camera in their pocket the whole time that they were in their childhood. They learned how to get those angles.
Yeah.
They learned how to use a camera and all of the features that it has. It's not a skill that, again, we can do it. We can all do it. Any of you can do it.
But
You
it's
have to
not-
practice it.
You have to
Yeah.
practice it because it's not, it doesn't come naturally
Yeah.
for us.
If
You have
I,
to work.
you know, like I want to think, I want to say that I can remember, I'm a huge introvert, by the way, like massive. If
Yes.
you like Myers-Briggs me, I'm like as far over on the introvert
I'm there
scale.
with
I'm
you.
an introvert with you.
And I had this story in my head that I had told myself to keep myself safe, was that introverts can't do video because
Yeah.
how could you ever show up on video if you're an introvert with all these millions of people? Like I'm
Millions.
imagining millions
Tens.
of people
Tens of
watching
people.
my
Yeah.
little Instagram account,
Yeah.
right? But in my head, this is what we do. We get ours, we completely put ourselves in a ball. And I can remember I took a class, an Instagram class from someone, and I asked the question, and I took the course from this lady because she was an introvert. And I'm like, well, I see her doing it, so I'm going to find out. So I go to the first call and I say, so tell me, like, I want to know, how do you do this? And she just totally deadpans and says, it's just you and your phone, Krista. How much more introverted do you need to be? And I went, oh, touche. Okay. And from that day on,
Right.
I was fearless when it came to video. I was just like, okay, what do I need to feel confident? What do I need? I'm not going to say that everybody needs what I need. What do I need? I put those things in place and I'm good.
Mm.
And now I'll show up in my nightie. Doesn't matter. Pajamas, don't care. But then in the beginning,
I
I
needed
needed-
my CPAP.
yep. Yeah, good for you.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use this to breathe at night.
Yeah.
Here, let's
But it's
show up.
real and
Yeah.
it's relatable and everybody else is probably doing it too. So therefore,
Yeah, I was very surprised when I showed up on my CPAP, the number of people that sent me
Yeah.
a message going, I've got one too. I'm like,
oh yeah.
you do? All of
Yeah.
these people have these machines.
Well, it's
And
normalizing showing like the behind the scenes of
Yeah.
real life, which more people want that more. I mean, obviously they want business advice too, but they want to trust you first.
They do.
They totally
they
want to
need to
trust you.
trust you. They need to have a
And they
relationship with
need
you.
to build that relationship through your personal values. Like,
Yes.
and you can only share that by being
you.
vulnerable
Yeah.
and sharing the behind the scenes stuff.
Are you looking to up your social media game? Social media can be intimidating and overwhelming, but it doesn't have to be. At Everyday on Branding, we truly believe that every day is an opportunity to showcase your brand through authentic and aligned social media strategy and content. Whether you're looking for done-for-you social management or monthly strategy sessions, the team at Everyday on Branding can help you reach your ideal audience in a way that feels aligned and drives conversion. If you'd like to have the Imposter Sisters come into your business and help you and your team get comfortable creating social media content, ask us about our new Keen to Screen program, a value-packed social media training for anyone that is looking to up their social media presence, either as a solopreneur or to empower their team to be impactful brand ambassadors.
So tell us some tips for dealing with imposter syndrome.
Oh, okay. My first tip is to question the voice that says,
Yeah, that big liar
Yeah.
in your head.
yeah.
Yeah.
And really dig. So a question that I always like to ask myself is, so let's have an aha, like, oh, this is really triggering to me. Okay, what's important about that? And then you can answer that question.
Mm.
And then you can go deeper and say, what's important about that? And keep asking yourself what is that? What's important about that? 4 words over and over and over until you can get to the bottom of what's going on there for you. And when you figure out, oh, wait, it's because I don't like the way my teeth look. Okay, great. Get your teeth whitened. Or I don't know, go to the dentist and see, or orthodontist and maybe get an Invisalign. Like, what do you need to get over that? Or I don't like the sound of my voice. oh, okay. So can you go to a voice coach? Can you talk about breathing from your abdomen and your diaphragm instead of breathing like all these little mini things. So asking those 4 words, what's important about that, and continuing to excavate till you find out what's going on and why that's so triggering. I would say that's probably my biggest tip.
That's great advice. I will use that.
I'll use that too, but I'm
Yeah.
also gonna get a hooray folder.
Yeah. A hooray folder. That's another, yeah, that would be tip number 2. Have a hooray folder that you keep. I keep mine in a Trello board. It just makes it easy for me. I love Trello, and I just keep it on a board. And then I have like, so I have ones for, and then you can organize it too. So I have like my speaking ones, and I have my facilitation retreat ones, and then I have like client centric ones, and I have ones that are like messaging, and then ones that are for products, digital products or offers that I've done. So
Smart.
keep them, like organize them, and then just go in and get in, whenever having a moment, go in and read in your hooray folder. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a huge.
And have good people in your life that when you're having a bad day, you can just call and say, can we just like, talk for a minute about kittens and babies and rainbows? And then you do.
And no, don't be afraid to walk away from the people that aren't doing that.
Oh,
That was a huge lesson for me in the last year.
Yeah. And full permission. Here's this is the big one I tell my clients all the time. Follow anybody who triggers you. Unfollow anybody.
Yes.
Who
Oh,
triggers
yeah. I was gonna say.
Unfollow. No,
what?
unfollow.
Give an opposite
Yeah.
The
advice.
minute,
Unfollow.
yeah,
Yeah.
the minute someone is, if you, and here's my rule as it comes to women. If I notice I am looking sideways or thinking, oh my God, I don't ever want to speak negatively about another woman and their business.
Yes, for 2 reasons.
Yeah.
One, it doesn't do you any good
Nope.
just to be, if you open up your phone and you see this person, you're like, ugh. Then take
Yep.
her off if that's how you feel about that person. But also, the person doesn't need
No,
you
no,
judging them.
no, that's what I'm saying. So for
Right?
me, that's the
Yeah.
rub. I don't like feeling like I'm judging another woman
Yeah.
because I believe there is enough business for every single person in this world.
That's right.
And we do not have to be in a competition about anything. However, when I find myself in the place where like, oh my God, her again talking, nope, can't do it.
Yeah.
I have to I'll either mute it if it's important that she knows that I still follow her. Like
Yeah.
I'll mute it if I have to, because I will do that.
I do.
I will
as
be
well.
honest, because sometimes it's important for those business relationships that they don't know that.
Yep.
So I think that that's important. But if it's someone that it does not matter and they don't care, I will unfollow them.
Well, and another thing too, and we said this in the article, if you're following too many people in your niche, you start to believe that people don't need to know what you have to say because everyone's saying it.
Increases the chances of your own imposter syndrome,
Right,
doesn't
exactly.
it? Yes.
So if you're not following a lot of people in your niche, it can be really hard to remember that, hey, I do have information that not a lot of people know that aren't in my niche.
Yes.
So if you're following too many people and you're seeing all the same things, you're like, well, and I think I get caught in this, which is why I have not been posting a lot, but it's just sort of, oh, I have nothing new to say. I don't have anything to add to this conversation that's not already out there.
Yeah, you really do.
Yeah, you really
Yeah,
do.
Really do.
But I feel like because
I know,
I'm
you're
following a lot
seeing
of
it.
people, then I'm just like, everyone else is already teaching that.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about life. We
gosh.
mentioned that you're a single mom.
I am a single mom. I have a 23-year-old daughter, Meg, who is the light of my life. And what I can say about her, she is very private when it comes to social media, but she's actually my photographer. So she does any pictures that you see of me, like brand photography, she does all my photos, and she'll do like a lot of my clients for me when I ask. But I'm so stinking proud of her. She has worked so hard this year. She is in her final year at Dalhousie University. She's finishing her honors, I don't know, honors project, I guess it's called, and just watching her like thrive in biology. And she's going to be doing her graduate work next year at UBC. Well, hopefully she's already got her grad person lined up and everything. It's just a matter of like ticking the boxes and just watching her apply for like insert grants and see all this amazing opportunities. Like all these professors here are trying to keep her here because they see like, it's really cool
Does
to
it
watch your
feel
kids.
good?
It feels like I've launched like you do your job. Like I did my job.
Yeah.
Like that's like as a mom, you guys get it. Like it is the most amazing feeling in the world to know that your child is finding their way in the world. They're giving back. They're being in service in the way that they're built to give service, and they're thriving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next thing.
Yeah, I got to see this.
Yes.
Okay, one word, right? That's the
If you can.
If
I
you
mean,
can.
some of them don't call for one word.
We're not
Okay.
usually too much.
Okay.
sticklers about it, but
You're not going to slap my fingers
No,
with a
probably
ruler or
not.
anything?
probably
Okay.
not. Okay, are we ready? What's your biggest fear?
Not being happy.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Not being happy.
What's your favorite type of cuisine?
Ooh. Oh, I'm a carnivore. I love a good steak.
I do too.
Like a good
Me
steak.
too. We
Yeah.
drove by the keg earlier today. And I was like,
Oh,
oh man, I really want to go back to the keg.
yeah. Yeah.
What's your favorite book or movie of all time?
Ooh, okay. Favorite movie of all time, The Sound of Music. No brainer. Favorite book, The Red Tent.
I haven't read that.
I needed
either.
Diamond. It's really good. Actually, a little biblical. Yeah, it's the story of the biblical story of Dinah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
It's very empowering.
Yeah, I'll read that.
What's the best gift you've ever received?
Oh, my daughter for Christmas last year. So guys, I love elephants. This is a long story from not one word, but she crocheted me an elephant.
Oh, that's awesome.
Oh,
That's so hard to
I
do.
bawled my eyes out. Yeah.
that's
Best gift I
sweet.
ever had was that. Yeah,
That's amazing.
for sure. Elephants are my thing. And she made an elephant for me.
Okay, last one. Name a person who inspires you.
My daughter.
Yeah,
I had
Every
feelings
day.
about that.
Every day.
yeah.
First rank. Yep.
It was a delight to have you
Right.
on. Women
Thank
Can
you.
Do Anything.
Thank
That's
you.
right.
Thank you. I found that conversation so empowering, powerful when she was talking about her sister and
Yeah,
the
it
accident.
definitely took a surprising turn. I had no idea that that was part of her history, and certainly glad that she felt safe enough to share it with us and give us a really good perspective on how to, I don't know, have a mindset shift about things when you really feel like you can't do something. So I'm really glad that she shared that with us. I think it led to some really important conversation.
I'm so thankful that she shared that with us. She helps a lot of women. She coaches a lot of women, and she's a positive. I felt her energy. Do you feel her energy?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the conversation with her a lot. I felt like she had a lot to teach or to give, and really enjoyed chatting with her. Like, I think she's a very interesting woman.
Yeah,
and
me
I
too.
Look
Her-
forward to seeing what else she's going to do.
Wouldn't it be cool to go to Orlando
It would.
and go to her retreat
It would be amazing.
for entrepreneurs to kind of, get your head out of the hustle and just, enjoy a few days? That would be good.
Yeah, let's go.
Wow.
Let's pack our bags.
Let's get some sponsors on the podcast, and then
yeah,
you and I
so-
can go to
If you're out there, you want an engaged audience,
give
we're
us a call.
taking ad spots.
We are taking ad spots, and we are taking speaking engagements,
right.
and we are looking for more people to come on the podcast. And I think we have a really wonderful lineup of great women that have been on it, including us.
Yes. Well, we're always on it.
Because I don't think I could ever do this without, like, I can't imagine if you were like, I'm sick, can you do the podcast without me tonight? No.
Well, I don't think anybody would want me to do it without you, because
Oh.
there'd be no questions. I barely speak.
You spoke more in this one.
True.
Okay. Anyway, Krista, thank you for joining us. What a doll. I liked her a lot. I really liked chatting with her.
She had great energy.
Yeah, good energy. Yeah. Yeah. All right. See you next Tuesday.
See you next Tuesday. Bye-bye. Thanks so much for tuning into this episode of Imposter Sisters. Please remember, we're not doctors or mental health experts. If you're looking for mental health guidance, please see our show notes for local resources. We'd like to thank our location sponsor, the Mellow Mug, located at 64 Delridge Lane, for donating this amazing space for us to have these important chats and for supplying us with drinks and goodies. Please give them a follow and make sure to stop in to see this beautiful spot for yourself. Until next time, keep your head high, and we will see you next Tuesday.
One of the ways to combat imposter syndrome is to actually listen to how awesome the people in your life think you are. If you're looking for the perfect gift for a loved one, where you can tell them all of the things that make them special, visit my Drawbridge Creative Etsy shop and purchase a Things We Love About You custom poster. With several styles to choose from, it's a fabulous gift for any milestone birthday, anniversary, retirement, or just because.